Yeah, you're good, and you don't have to move it. It's just if it was in your way with the bag.
Yep.
And I'm at handrail 3652.
Okay, the bag is on 5128 Tracy with an adjustable.
Okay, copy. And let's see. Once he gets there, you guys are going to be working on the AP cable. We've got you in the procedures working on that together before you get into the APFR, so you might want to get into position.
Okay, and so that AP cable is the one that's attached to this 5128. I believe we're going to be removing this cap and the cap on the AP. Is that correct?
Yeah, and you can do both of those if you'd like.
Okay. And so just to clarify, TC, I can take the cap off of the cable right now?
Yes, you can take the cap off of both the cable and the adapter plate.
Okay, and the AET and the cap that's on the cable is going back in the crew lock bag, is that correct?
The AET with both of the caps will go back into the crew lock bag.
Copy, okay. I'm sure that'll save me, so I'm going to pick up this AET and the cap that's on the table. I'm going to put it on my mini workstation.
And TC, EV2, I have my green hook. It goes black on 3652. Both reels are unlocked.
Good work, David. Copy. All right, translate port. Make sure your gauntlets are in place before you cross the Sarge. And once you're there, I can give you some vectors in terms of handrails, but you're going to go quite nadir on the Sarge before you cross the struts.
Copy.
St. Jock now moving on his way to the P4 truss to join Ann McLean.
Continue on phase 1 and then go aft once on the IEA. That's okay.
We're good with that plan.
The astronauts will work together to move the adapter plate. The adapter plate completes the circuit between the lithium-ion batteries to close that circuit and power those up. The adapter plate doesn't have a robotics interface, and so the crew has to move it and stack it on top of the adapter plate in slot 2.
And your start gauntlets in place.
Copy.
All right, the cap is removed from the cable.
Copy, Ann.
And it is on an AET on my mini workstation.
McLean is removing the adapter plate connector cable and will restow it into launch configuration since that adapter plate is no longer being used.
And David, I'm going to read a caution to you, even though I don't think you're going to be close to the P4 radiator, but avoid kick loads and inadvertent contact with it.
Copy. Reminder.
And David, where are you at? Oh, you're right there.
I'm just next to you now.
Greetings. All right, so the AT, our tethers are going to stay clear. I'd like to translate back around where you just came from.
Okay, I'm going out of your way.
And watch your right foot. Alright, so if I come this way, can you see how my tether's coming? You'll be alright if I skip over you? Okay.
I'm hanging on tight here.
Okay, so I did the bag, I got the cap off of the cable.
Okay.
So the next thing is going to be that J4 cap.
Mm-hmm.
And having that cable to connect.
Yep.
I'm going to go get some AT on that APFR and move it.
Sure. I'm going to put a trail lead here on handrail 5114. Just out of trouble.
Okay. And I'm going to need your hand for a sec because this is not going the right direction. See where my tether packs are?
Yeah.
You see where my tether packs are?
Look better. And,
I think it's, I might just need to turn around.
Yes. They are, yeah, you need to do one turn the other way. Yes. But if you can also, if you point your legs at me, we'll probably swing out.
Oh, did you pull those?
Yeah.
Thank you. Right. You arrived just a minute ago.
See. Just one leg. Leg. There we go.
Perfect, thanks.
And David, do I understand you're going to put an adjustable fair lead on handrail 5114?
On handrail 5114, yeah. If you concur.
That's a good plan.
The rich one tether.
TC, I'm headed to the APFR, I think you overheard. Get the AET on the ingress aid and then move that to width 10.
Copy, Ann. And before you get into the APFR, before you do any other work with the APFR, we do have some TA clamps and other work on the AP.
But yeah, the V's going to work on the app, and then we're going to, I believe we're attaching the cable and then doing the 3 TA clamps.
That's affirmed.
McLean and Caldwell Dyson discussing the APFR. That's the Articulating Portable Foot Restraint. And McLean will use that to have more stability as they work to remove that adapter plate.
You see if that's all right? I'll work on the APFR while David works on that, and then we can link that visit. All right?
It's a good plan, Ann.
Yeah, I have my rich man on top.
Copy.
Copy, David.
Copy, David.
You're going to work on connecting the cable, right?
We're connecting the cable on those 3 TA clamps.
That's, yes, David will have you connecting the connector to the adapter plate.
Copy. I have the cable. I see where it goes. Okay.
And David, before you connect it, I want all those typical checks of the connector and the plug. Yeah, and David, you'll see the connector cap on the AP, and you'll just read to that and put on your workstation until you can get back to the crew lock bag.
Okay. Just read to the bail. Okay. Okay. Ryan, did you already take the cap from the cable?
I did. I have it on me.
Okay, perfect.
At TC, we got an AET from the ingress aid to a tow loop, and the ingress aid is black on black.
Excellent, thank you. And you're going to be relocating the APFR from WIF 14 to WIF 10, a clocking of 1.
Clocking 1.
Connector cap is off and rented to my main workstation.
Copy, David.
Forward. There are no pins, as this is a dummy. EMI band.
Copy.
Copy. I have a ret to the APFR, and I'll be releasing it from WIF 14.
Copy, Ann.
Made it. Made it over center.
Excellent. And I see you working on the TA clamps.
On the TA clamps. Works.
And the roll of Foxtrot is set on APFR. And I also see Romeo Romeo, Yaw 12, and I believe you said clocking of 1, right?
I did.
McLean has already worked with the battery charge discharge unit today, and as they continue to set up the Worksite to complete the adapter plate removal, just a recap of what's gone on so far with the robotics operations. So far, 6 lithium-ion batteries have been installed to replace the 12 nickel hydrogen batteries. However, because one of the lithium-ion batteries was not charging along with the battery charge discharge unit, it was removed by robotics controllers last week.
Both of you. And you've got to go to ingress the APFR. And David, when you're back in place to assist with the AP, you can give me a glove and half check.
When that lithium-ion battery was confirmed failed during the successful replacement of the battery charge discharge unit, ground controllers removed that failed battery from the integrated electronics assembly Wednesday morning of last week and installed it on the Japanese HTV external pallet. It will not be returned to Earth for examination. It will burn up upon re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere.
Copy, dry half, no change on the gloves. David, as you get into position, your next step is going to be to retrieve that PGT and get ready to hand it to Ann, the one with the 9-inch hex.
Okay.
Last week, on Friday night, April 5th, Robotics ground controllers continued those battery recovery operations using the station's Canadarm2 and Special Purpose Dexterous Manipulator, or Dexter, to relocate the nickel hydrogen battery from the Integrated Electronics Assembly Slot 6 to Slot 5, where Ann McLean just tightened that into place. That brings us into our current configuration today, a mix of both nickel hydrogen and lithium ion batteries. And that mix of batteries should be sustainable for the foreseeable future, and eventually a replacement nickel hydrogen battery or a replacement lithium ion battery will be flown to replace those nickel hydrogen batteries. And McLean is now getting in place in that articulating portable foot restraint. As the astronauts get into configuration for their next task, we are going to take an Ask NASA question. You can submit yours on the internet using that hashtag AskNASA. This one comes from Jeffrey, who wants to know what a spacesuit weighs on Earth. On Earth, a spacesuit weighs, give or take, around 315 pounds, depending on the configuration. Each spacesuit has several different parts to help fit the astronauts as best as possible. But of course, once in space, it weighs virtually nothing.
Now you're too high now. Yeah. You're on board and the valve clock. You look good now. Right. Yeah.
Nice work, you two. And don't forget to stow the ingress aid and check that your tethers are clear of that pathway for the AP.
I see my tethers are clear. Ingress aid is back. I'll recheck that as we bring the AP out. I'm ready for that PGT to be.
Yep. Yeah. I'm going to go in place to help send the AP.
Hey, if Ann, you could give us a glove and hap check real quick. I know you got PGT in your hand.
Okay. No worries. Right glove, no change. Left glove, no change to the structure. I do have a power speed of my WVS. Some of that same black pink stuff that we had last time.
Yeah, we can see it. Just as a black mark.
And I'm just here next to the right shoulder.
And half is dry.
Copy, Ann. You ready for your settings? Oh, wait, let's get a ret on that AP. And we have you, Ann, going to the tether point on the heater mat. And remember, that's a specific orientation for the ret on that spot.
Copy that.
Ann McLean will use the pistol grip tool to release 2 bolts and free the adapter plate. She'll then transfer that adapter plate to David St. Jacques, and he'll tether that to keep it close by.
Hang on to that real quick.
Yep.
Thanks.
David, while she's doing that, you want to check the PGT settings for her?
Okay.
I already called it and got Bravo 2 in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Bravo 2 counterclockwise too.
Bravo 2, counter 2.
All right, Tuesday, I am redded, and the red is locked out, so it's not imparting any force.
Like you did this before. Yes. All right. Once you get that PGT, you're going to install into H1. Confirm 1 line flush and 8 turns.
Copy. Copy. H1. I have 1 line flush on H1. ready to drive.
Copy. Expect 8 turns.
Driving. Okay, at about 6.5 turns, it started kind of jumping like it was fully released.
Copy. See. And Ann, was it 6.5 or did you drive to 8?
Drove extra, so it started skipping. The first skip was at 6.5, and I just drove just past 8.
Okay, copy. 7 seconds to hand over, get in position for H2.
Copy.
McLean and Tracy Caldwell Dyson confirming that the first of those bolts on the adapter plate has been released. Space station is now in a handover period between satellites, and McLean will take a moment to prepare for the second bolt to be released.
Actually, no, I'll just lean back.
All right, guys, I got you back on voice only at the moment. How are we looking, Ann, on H2? We're looking for 1 line flush.
Yep, we're working on it right now. There we go. I got 1 line flush on H2. I have Bravo 2 and a clockwise 2 set.
It's a good config. You're looking.
Yeah, it's knocked out.
All right, you're looking for about 19 turns.
Work. It got turned off, so I'm just redoing the cal real quick.
Copy.
This is a view from Ann McLean's helmet as she uses the pistol grip tool with a hex driver attached to release the second bolt on the adapter plate.
And did the PGT power off? Is that why you got to redo the cal?
All right, cal. It did get powered off. It might have been me when I was flipping the, checking the settings, but it did go off. It did the auto off. But we have a good cal, good LED test. I'm bracking Bravo 2, Honor 2.
All right, good settings.
I'm going to reinsert on H2.
All right, looking for 1 line flush.
Okay. I have 1 line flush on H2.
Copy. 19 turns.
Work. If you wouldn't mind putting a hand on it, I could already feel running towards building 5 turns. Get it. A little bit. There we go. That's now so good. Yep. Keep coming out. Okay, I got the skip right at 18. I believe we are released.
That's the
Out of here.
Okay, and I copy 18 turns.
Firm. And the AP is released. And David, why don't I hold it while you get in a good position?
I'll move
the hand
I'll move the other side.
Sounds good. I've got the PGT in the other hand to give you the...
Okay, so you guys are transferring the PGT back to David, and I'm looking in the camera. It looks like you guys put one ret on the tether loop to the handle. Is that going to David, or is that you, Ann?
That's to me. So we'll do a ret swap when I hand it off.
Okay. You guys are going to rotate the AP 180 from the position it's in there in slot 6, so just keep that in mind with the rets and being able to release those.
Copy, will do.
Caldwell Dyson just mentioned the RET, that's the retractable equipment tether. Astronauts wear several tethers, both for the safety of themselves and also so they can keep their equipment close by when not in use.
Probably pretty good. Here's the PGT. I'm going to let it send back to the bag.
What? Yeah. That's fine. I put a BRT down.
Okay.
BRT to 5128.
Okay. And let me know when you have a red out, and I'll get this AC out.
Yep.
NASA astronaut Anne McLean is now removing that adapter plate. She will transfer that over to David St. Jacques.
Now, Anne and
To the BRT.
And we had you guys both reading to the AP, and it'll be your call if you both can fit a ret on that tether loop on the handrail.
Yes, we should be able to.
Excellent.
All right.
Just a sec. There we go.
Before you grab it, I'm holding it for it, and I think you get a good visual on it.
Yep. Let me move in a better place. Good bag view. No far, no bent in. Good.
Okay. I'm going to turn it, the handrail facing me.
Okay, guys, I copied the good checks on the AP interfaces.
Yeah, 2 rets on it now.
Yes. No
I'm
problem.
going to put my BRT down, and then I can 2 hands.
No problem. Watch your feet.
I'm ready. And off.
Okay. Coming your way.
How are you?
You have it.
And sorry to keep pestering you two, but is the red going to both of you or just to David now?
Just about it.
Copy.
And I'm out of the APFR. Move it to West 14, and I think I need to roll it to kilo, is that correct?
Yes, all the settings are the same, including the clocking, except kilo, the roll.
Okay.
And David, you're in a good position to rotate the AP, or have you already done that?
It needs to go inside the house inboard, and that's the way it is.
Yes, electrical connectors will be pointed inboard.
Have I read on APFR?
Copy.
McLean is now moving that APFR, articulating portable foot restraint, into the next position where she will use it to tighten the adapter plate, which is connected to the top of another adapter plate, storing it for potential future use. As the astronauts prepare to install the adapter plate in slot 2, we are going to take another Ask NASA question. You could submit yours using the hashtag AskNASA on Twitter. Augusta wants to know what the astronauts do if they have an itch. It's a good question. There's actually a small bar of foam on the inside of their helmet where they can scratch their nose or itch their nose or even lean in and use that to pop any pressure differences that's in their ears. It's called the Valsalva.
Popping a kilo is set. Correction roll, sorry.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Popping of 1 on inward. All right, the APFR is in with 14, the clocking of 1. Black on black. Ballistic pulse test.
Copy. And you said the roll was back in kilo, Romeo, kilo 12 it said. And then check your ingress 8 is black on black.
Copy, I will check that when I get to that side.
Guys, we got 20 seconds to a 20-second LOS, and I know you're working on getting in the APFR. I'd like you to also inspect the receptacles in slot 2.
Okay. Ingress 8 is black on black if you're still with me, Tracy.
Copy.
How you doing, David?
Good. You can reach. I am.
I'm back with you guys on voice only.
With you, Tracy. I'm in the APFR. In the receptacles. Okay, the MI band looks intact.
Okay, and make sure your ingress aid is stowed. Your tethers are clear.
It is stowed, tethers are clear, and I think you might have been in the handover what I called the it is black on black.
I did get it. Thank you. All right, and you've inspected the receptacles there, slot 2. It looks like you've got it in place. Nice work.
Yes, tethers are clear, and I'm ready to take it from you, David.
Guys, you got 2 minutes to a night pass.
Okay, thanks.
If it's caught on the cable below on the trunnion, yeah, move those cables away. Caught. There you go. Free.
There we go. Yeah.
Are we at the strobe? You're gonna.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me get one of mine on there.
I can move now. I don't need the beer team.
I'm going to release you right back to you, David.
Okay. I'm going to get the TTT.
Copy. Your vet's coming back.
Got it.
Right, and you can... All the tethers are clear from what I can tell.
Good.
And let's get this cable. Cable will have to run on top of these connectors.
Because these cables go.
Yes.
They're going to clear?
I think like that, yeah? Yeah, can you see what it looks like down there?
Yeah, no, it's clear. It's clear, yeah.
And
So you can plug it toward your knee.
Hey, Tracy?
it's just a reminder to lock out your ret.
Copy, thanks.
As you can see, the space station is now entering an orbital nighttime over the east of China.
We got to stop that. High on the H1 side. All right, ready for that PTT.
And you're going to start at the H2 bolt.
Copy.
David St. Jacques hands over the pistol grip tool to NASA astronaut Anne McLean.
I'm going to wait in the drive until you're in a good position. And Tracy, I have Alpha 7 clockwise 2 set.
You got it. Confirm 1 line flush.
She's tightening 2 bolts to secure the adapter plate on top of the adapter plate currently in slot 2. Once a new lithium-ion battery is launched to the space station, this adapter plate will be used to close the circuit and charge the batteries.
Driving 16 to 17 turns, and I'll take all your calls.
The 17 turns, ready to be? All right, ready. All right, we have a caller error. Oh, maybe I just bumped it. Can we drive again?
Ready? Driving.
Yeah, I see it down.
True.
8 turns, and it is moving in. All right, Tracy, we got a green light, 9.4 torque after 16.4 turns.
Copy and good numbers. Ready for H1?
Copy. Ready for H1? On H1. Need that down if you don't mind.
And you know it's same settings, alpha 7 clockwise 2.
Alpha 7 clockwise 2. I have alpha 7 clockwise 2. Lines visible, 1 line flush on H1.
Nice call. Drive 4.5 to 6 turns and report your numbers.
Good work. Okay, we've got 6 turns, 9.1 torque, light.
And repeat the turns. I think you said 6.
Affirmative.
All right, nice job. You guys can release your RET. And Ann, if you've not already, transfer the PGT back to David.
PGT is pivot back to the bag. Can you reach that by any chance?
And while you two are in close proximity, and do you want to transfer the cap that you removed with the adjustable to David so he can put it in the bag?
That is a great idea.
Good idea, yeah.
And just
for this whole adjustable, so I can just clip it onto your head.
Yeah, confirm for me that you have also the adjustable that was connected to that cap and then the handrail, right?
That's correct, yeah. And I'm transferring both the cap and the adjustable is now on David.
Both on my ingress station.
Excellent. Okay, in big picture, I think you both know, but Ann, you're going to be working on APFR, and David, you're going to be doing a socket swap on the PGT and doing a cleanup and inventory of the bag.
The adapter plate is now in place, and the astronauts can begin cleaning up their work site. Before moving on to the next work site, the astronauts will perform inventory of the tools that they're using today.
so you guys know, I can see you in your WVS trying to follow along, but we're in the dark, so if you guys want to make any calls just to make sure I'm in sync with you, I don't mind.
Okay, I'm just working on getting the APFR good to end of Tango Delta 1 and low profile.
Copy.
And then a BRT for stabilization.
We've got another Ask NASA question from Ninja Turtle. He wants to know how many times the astronauts will orbit the Earth during the spacewalk. The space station moves at about 17,000 miles per hour, so it orbits the Earth once every 90 minutes. So if this spacewalk lasts about 6.5 hours, could go longer or even shorter, the astronauts will rotate the Earth just over 4 times.
EV2 socket swap complete, good full test.
Copy, David. You're going to put that PGT on your swing arm using the external ret from the crew lock bag.
Okay.
We have another question from Tom, who wants to know if the battery won't be repaired or sent back, what will happen to it? It's currently on the exposed pallet on the Japanese HTV-7 vehicle. That vehicle does return to Earth and burns up in the Earth's atmosphere. So it might look like a shooting star, but we probably wouldn't get a view of that from Earth.
David, can you just confirm for me that you also did a pull test on the 2-inch that you put on the PGT?
Yes, good pull test on the 9-inch on the cyber caddy and on the 2 inches now on the PGT.
Excellent. Thank you.
See, I have Tango Delta 1 set on the APFR, and my BRT ret's on it. I'm going to pull it out and get on my BRT.
Copy, Ann.
At just over 1 hour and 20 minutes into the spacewalk, the astronauts are wrapping up the first of today's tasks.
Affirmative.
Okay, I'll be looking for a glove and hap check from you when you're ready.
Okay.
And before you leave that spot, we would also like you to check slot 6 and look at the receptacles there and make sure you see no FOD or anything anomalous there.
Okay, so that's when we took the AP out of. I checked for FOD, and I checked the receptacles. I also got about 10 or 20 photos of the receptacles and the cooling grid.
All right, you rock. Thank you.
We going, David?
Yeah, I just, I'm short on reps, so I have to do a bit of a triangular dance there. Get in there.
Copy.
As they wrap up this first task, so far they've worked on the battery channels, just as the last two spacewalks have.
And David, just so it's clear, the RET series that you had to the PGT that you had attached to the bag, we intended for you to break that apart, and one of the RETs would go to the PGT and be stowed on your swing arm, and the other RET would be to the cap that you guys removed from the...
I agree, but I need one free RET to break that, so I just generated that by getting an adjustable, and I'll recuperate my adjustable later.
While on the P4 truss, the astronauts were working on the integrated electronics assembly. NASA astronaut Emma McLean completed the installation of a battery charge discharge unit by installing one bolt to tighten and secure it to the station, as well as a battery in slot 5. The team moved to demate and then mate an adapter plate from its original slot on top of another adapter plate, where it can then be removed for future use with a lithium-ion battery once delivered to space station. There's not currently a date set for that, but we do have some on Earth ready to go.
Affirmative.
I feel it is still attached.
I'll get to you next. And Ann, I may have missed it, but glove and half check after you're done with the photos.
Only change on the back of the right glove, some of the white MLI is rubbed off, and there's a metallic that's showing right at the middle knuckle. The left glove has no change. See, my left glove does have a change. On the just below the index fingers, where I had the RTB pulled up before, the RTB that is at the base of my finger on the palm side is also now pulled up with a little crack. The Vectran appears unaffected. You see that in my WVS?
Okay, copy that. And we're talking about your right glove. Did you give me your HAP?
I have.
Copy.
PC, I'll be ready for the inventory when you're available.
I'm available.
Right. Inside the crew lock bag, I have a caddy with a 16 9-inch rigid hex driver, an adjustable with a plug cap, a ret, a cable cap, cables on an integral, a ratchet wrench with a palm wheel, and a 2-inch on an integral, and a pin puller on an integral. That's for the inside.
Copy all. David, verify for me the socket caddy is on a ret.
Socket caddy is on an integral. Check. On a ret, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
On a ret. On a ret, yeah.
Got it.
Well, that's it for the inside. Outside is a long wire tie. That's to an eyelet. And adjustable.
All right, David, that's a good inventory. Thank you. All right, from you, once you get to your crew lock bag on your BRT, I'll take a glove and HAP check.
St. Jacques just took some inventory of the contents of the crew lock bag, and both astronauts have performed a glove and HAP check. That's HAP, which stands for helmet absorption pad. Astronauts regularly check their gloves for any damage during the spacewalk. And the helmet absorption pad, the astronauts check to ensure nothing inside of the spacesuit is leaking and it remains dry.
Tracy, for your essay, I moved my cooling from 5 to 3.5.
Thank you.
And Tracy, I have the crew lock bag on my BRT.
Nice work, David. Okay, when you're ready, I'll take a glove and HAP check, and then I'd also like you to roll in your TCV and let me know what that setting is.
I have no change on the gloves. And the temperature That's 5. Move it down to 4.
Okay. David, I copy. Good glove and hap check. Your change in TCB setting. And for you, and back to your right glove, we would like for you to describe again what you're seeing on the back of your right glove.
Here, they have the 3 vertical seams that go from the finger crotches down to where the flat the palm bars is, and where the intersection of the seam that's in between the middle finger and the ring finger comes kind of down toward that flap, right at that intersection. It's just kind of rubbed off, and I can see white material rubbed off, and then the next layer looks like an aluminum foil type.
Okay, and we copy. That was
no more than about 2 millimeters.
Copy, and I think you were saying 2 millimeters. That's a good description.
Copy.
Okay, it looks like you guys are all ready to head back inboard. David, check for me your fair leads that you set.
Yes, I need to retrieve my fair lead.
Okay, once you have done that, we're going to have you lead back, so you have a go to translate. And then both of you just do a real nice sweep of the Worksite just to make sure all tethers are with you and not at the IEA. And then we'll have David head out first, picking up his fair lead.
No, wait.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to get snagged, but that wire tie that the PGT was on is kind of hanging out.
Sure.
Yes. Wire tie from the PGT on the side of the coolant bag.
Okay. And maybe I could put it inside the coolant bag.
The astronauts are leaving the first Worksite after completing the first task, removing that adapter plate 6 and stacking it on top of the adapter plate 2. This leaves the integrated electronics assembly in a good configuration, and the nickel hydrogen batteries, which will replace the failed lithium ion battery, will be robotically moved later this week. The astronauts will next make their way to the outside of the U.S. lab to begin cable installation for some additional Ethernet connections outside of the space station.
You see, as I look at my gloves, one little update. At the base of my trigger finger on my left hand, there's actually a little chunk of the RTB missing. A couple millimeters. I don't know if you can see that in my WVS. Again, the vectorhead is affected.
Yeah, and we can't see it. I think we'd have to wait for a day pass to get that kind of resolution. But for missing RTV, we're still good. Yeah, as long as you don't have any damage to the underlying Vectron, you're just fine. And guys, I have a request for the area there around slot 6 where you guys just removed the AP. You guys know the solar array blanket box restraints, those structures that swivel back and forth. We'd like, yeah, if you could, can you stand those up a little bit so they're more vertical and kind of out of the envelope?
Yep, so be good return with your right hand. And you want them out of the slot 6 envelope? 5 envelope, rather.
As much as you can in between, kind of out of the envelope of the PFCS and the slot 5.
And I might need your assessment on my safety tether.
I'm on my way. What you got?
It's coming from my shoulder.
Okay. That's it. Got my local.
And David, I know you're working on your fair lead there. Just want to let you both know you're still looking really good on the timeline.
Actually, fair lead is retrieved.
Kind of roll over to your left.
Yep, that is. There you go. Thank you. So EV2 ready to depart the worksite. Unless you have more tasks you want me to do.
If you guys like how you left the place, then we are go for you to translate inboard with David leading. And you're going to head to the starboard seat of cart. David, that'll be your first step once you make it back on the forward face, and you'll be picking up your green hook.
Copy.
All right, let me get out of your way, David. Tracy, I adjusted those fabs so they're up as vertical as I can get them.
We appreciate it, Ann. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I get cross here.
Okay. Get out of your way.
Hey guys, in 5 minutes you have the sunlight to look forward to. Just a heads up.
Okay. Thanks.
2 is inboard of the Sarge.
Copy, David.
All right, my safety tether is right there.
You got it. I see it. Thank you.
You are clear.
EV2's on phase 1.
Going behind him. Gauntlets are covered from the Sarge.
And Ann, I think you know your first stop is going to be at the port seat of cart, and we'll have you release the brake handle on the inboard side.
Copy. And inboard of the Sarge.
Copy.
Under the seat of purpose. EV2 at my green hook location. Leaving.
Copy, David. And Ann, you'll be pressing that brake release twice to a hard stop on the port inboard seat of cart.
Okay, I gave it an extra one. It's 3 to a hard stop on the inboard brake.
Overachiever. Okay, Ann, and David's there picking up his green hook.
Okay, I'll kind of hold on the port side. Actually, I can drop the APFR.
Yeah, and you know which whiff?
All right.
You're good.
Hook retrieve. Field or unlock.
Copy, David, and you're going to head to the mile marker 7860 to drop off the crew lock bag for Ann.
7860.
Hey, Ann, how does the underneath of that MT look?
In what sense?
Does it look like anything like you see in the pool?
It is. You know, the cables are a little more better behaved up here. They tucked in nicely.
I think there's a whole class of ASCANs relieved to hear that.
And I have yet to run into pool structure up here.
But there's no friendly divers to help.
That's the downside.
And the famous words from Doug Wheelock is that it's all the same as the pool except for that big blue planet.
All right, I'm going to leave my green hook while I drop the APFR.
Good plan, Ann. And you know this is any clocking.
Any clocking.
In the mile marker for the bag drop.
7860. It's just above that port strut.
Your Capcoms for today, standing up is Tracy Caldwell Dyson, and seated.
7, which keeps the boot plate over the feeder cart. I have a good pull and twist test.
Copy that, Ann. And we'd like it also in Tango Tango Delta 1.
Tango Tango Delta 1 set.
At the bottom of your screen is NASA astronaut Doug Wheelock.
I think you're done with that APFR. You just have your green hook. I want you to hit the brake pedal there on the starboard outboard side.
Starboard outboard, copy.
And Ann, did you grab your adjustable off the ingress aid?
Not yet. Good reminder.
Both Caldwell Dyson and Wheelock have actually performed 3 spacewalks together. That was in August of 2010, fixing a failed fuel pump.
And while you're there, you can give us a black-on-black call on the ingress aid.
Sure thing. I see the ingress aid is black on black.
Copy.
Crew at bag 1, bench towed at the mile marker 7860.
Okay, David, we copy. You got the crew lock bag at the mile marker, and we're not seeing WVS, so check your check your button.
Right, not green. WVS will not come on. I'm pushing the button, but the LED does not turn green.
Okay, we copied, David. Hey, David, try it one more time and just make sure that your finger is right in the center of the button.
Sure. I see in my mirror that the button is depressing about a quarter inch as I push. Again.
Yeah, try it one more time.
TC, I've got my adjustable now. Thanks for that reminder.
No choice, TC.
You bet. Okay. Okay, copy both of you. Got your adjustable and you've got the brake pedal on the.
Yes.
Okay. And then David, we copy. You've tried the button twice.
3 times.
Well, David, the good news is that we can see you in one of the station cameras, so we got an eye on you.
Right, with the crew back temps to make my way to the next Worksite.
Yes, and with that, I know, Ann, you're still working on the CETA cart and getting your green hook, but this is where I'm going to hand over the mic to Jeanette, and it's been a real pleasure. You guys are doing a great job. You're doing well on the timeline, and we'll be watching.
Thanks for everything, Tracy. Great working with you this morning.
Thank you, DC. It was nice. Always nice to work with you.
Thanks, guys.
And good morning, Ann and David. This is Jeanette. It's like your second team in the pool.
Has it already been 2 hours?
Exactly. So for you, David, you're going to go out to the lab MMOD shield, the Charlie 201 worksite, and you're going to get there by going later on the port lab struts and then forward.
No, wait.
And Jeanette, I released the CETA brake twice.
Copy that, Ann. You've released the CETA brakes, and you're going to pick up your green.
Team is doing a little bit of troubleshooting on David St. Jacques' wireless video system, that's WVS, or his helmet camera, to see if they can get that to reconnect. Meanwhile, McLean is working on the CETA cart, that's CETA, Crew and Equipment Translation Aid.
Go to handrail 0259 and take that gap spanner across.
Copy. I'm on the gap spanner as we speak.
Copy, David.
Then I have my green hook. It's reattached to my crew rail.
Copy, Ann. Now you're going to translate to the lab handrail 0251, and that's forward on the port lab strut. Forward of the port lab strut.
Copy.
And as you saw, NASA astronaut Jeanette Epps took over the
0288.
ground IV position, so now she's communicating tasks with the astronauts.
The bag load, and you're going to use the wire tie to restrain it open.
Copy.
Okay, and before you translate out, can we ask you to hit the CETA brakes one more time?
On my way back.
Thanks, Ann.
There's port side of it or the starboard side? I hit the starboard side a couple times. Let me just get this, or I hit the port side. You want me to just hit the starboard side?
And we need the starboard side. Copy. We saw that. Thanks, Ann.
Jeanette, the lid is open and we're tied.
Copy that, David. And you can go ahead and grab the long T-handle tool with the adjustable and ret and stow it on your mini workstation.
Work.
Jeanette, I think I'm stopping here to do a rich man's. Is that right?
Copy that. You're going to install a rich man's air lead.
Jeanette, I have the long T-handle tool and the adjustable on my mirror station using the ret that was in the bag.
Okay, copy that, David. You're going to wait till Ann get to the work site, so stand by. Hey, David, we're looking at some data on the ground, and we have a question for you. Are you using your glove heaters, or have you noticed them turning on and off?
I'm not using them, and they're currently off with us both.
Okay, copy of that, David. We think that there may be a connection issue with the Reba battery.
Okay.
Okay, I have a rich man's installed at the islet at mile marker 7860. Jeanette.
Copy that, mile marker 7860 for the Fairlead.
Confirm.
Okay, and as you know, you're heading out to the work site. You'll head down the port lab struts and go forward from there.
All right, I'm at 251.
Copy.
I think I take this gap spanner to the left.
That's affirmative.
All right, so I'm not behind you, David.
Okay, and as you're heading out to the work site, you're heading nadir. I have one reminder warning to avoid inadvertent contact with the SSR MMS Lee on the lab PGDF. It'll be near your feet.
I see. Thank you. All right, I'm at 286.
Move. I'll go further forward.
Copy. And you want me to keep going around this gap spanner to 205, right?
That's affirmative. You're going to drop your green hook in on the lab handrail 0205 or a better location if you have it.
Okay.
And David, one, go back if you haven't.
204.
Say again, Ann?
Say again?
I'm going to drop on 204.
Copy, your green hook is on 0204. And David, for you, if you haven't already, you can drop your green hook on lab handrail 0268 if you need.
268. On the end drone. We'll do that.
And for you, Ann, next you're going to go to the EWIS antenna, and I have a caution and a warning reminders for you. First, do not use the EWIS antenna as a handhold. And second, there's an EWC antenna boom on the nadir side. It can be a whipping impact hazard if deflected.
Okay. And my green hook is on 204, and I just did that so I didn't have to stop. I could potentially come in contact with the arm.
Copy that. And I see that you're near the EWIS antenna, and what you're going to do there is you're going to demate the P1 from the EWIS antenna 11J1.
I am still making my way for 204. I'll be there in just a sec.
Maybe two green hook on 0268.
Copy Dalit and copy Ann.
What's real on lot?
All right, now I'm right next to you. Anna?
St. Jock and McLean are now at the U.S. lab and are working to get under the MMOD shield. That's the micrometeoroid orbital debris shield. They'll be demating and mating some cables to provide additional Ethernet to the International Space Station.
This antenna that's on handrail 298, I see the J1 connector. Am I good to disconnect that?
That's affirmative. You're go to disconnect the P1 from the J1.
P1 from J1 is disconnected.
Copy. Could you give me the calls for the FOD, pins, and EMI bands?
Just looking at it right now. I see no FOD, get pin. My band is intact.
Okay, copy. Good calls. And if you can temp stow the cable away from the MMOD shield.
McLean has demated the first cable. This was only necessary to access the worksite and will be remated afterward.
And once that's completed, if you need to, you can loosen or remove the gap spanner.
Let's see.
I've loosened it a bit.
I think we're going to need to...
If this one, you mean the bi-directional. I've loosened it a bit.
Okay, yep. Actually kind of nice as a handhold. You leave it there.
Okay.
Okay, Jeanette, we are ready for the next step, which I think is all tethers.
Okay, copy that. And before you do that, can you check your WVS? We've lost your signal as well as David's now.
Okay, my green light's on.
Copy, your green light's on.
And the green light's definitely not coming on.
A good look at the micrometeoroid orbital debris shield from Ann McLean's helmet camera.
Okay, and we now have your WVS signal, and we still do not have David's, but we're going to continue.
Copy.
Okay, next, David, if you can hand in the long T-handle tool with the adjustable and ret. And you're going to install that T-handle tool on the center hex socket of the MMOD shield.
Copy. Z can pop it in. There we go.
Okay, it's in with a good pull test.
Copy, good pull test. And Ann, can you verify that you have a ret from your mini workstation to the T-handle tool?
There's one from David's mini workstation to the T-handle tool.
Copy, it's on David's mini workstation.
That's correct.
Then, Ann, you can take the free hook of the adjustable on the T-handle tool and secure it to handrail 0364 on node 2.
Okay, it doesn't quite reach yet.
Copy.
Even maxed out, it's a few inches short.
Copy and stand by.
Copy.
Maybe if we clock it differently? Help?
I don't think so.
Really
It's, we're about pretty short.
The astronauts use that T-handle tool just installed into the micrometeoroid orbital debris shield to help remove the shield and also tether it. It can kind of be thought of like a hold point.
Okay, and we see that the adjustable doesn't reach to node 2, so what you can do is leave the long T-handle tool connected to David, the ret connected to David, and then once you get the shield partially open, you should likely be able to reach to that handrail.
Understand? And I've got my BRT on node 2 364 and my end effector on lab 267.
Okay, copy that. So next, Ann, we'd like for you to release the hooks of the long-duration tie-down tethers, the nadir hooks on 0298, and temp stow them on 0279.
Copy.
It goes ends to me.
Again?
It's a handrail here.
279, yeah, that's... All right. And Janek, you said the handrail is 298 or 297 or 279?
0279, Ann, 0279.
Release 279, copy.
Release 279?
You're going to release from handrail 0298, and then temp stow the hooks on 0279.
Got it.
Any slack?
Yeah, we're going to need slack.
Work on that.
I'll get the other one.
Just over 2 hours into today's spacewalk, and the astronauts are releasing some long-duration tie-down tethers that help keep the MMOD shield in place. They're going to lift the shield and mate some cables underneath.
You get some slack. Got enough slack?
Yes. Release.
Got it?
And the other one's released now too. Okay, both those long duration tight end tethers are released, and David is connecting them to 279.
Copy that, Ann. So next you can grab the short T-handle tool from your mini workstation.
Work.
See both long duration tight end tethers. Good.
All right, I have the short T-handle tool.
And David, one item, can you verify that you're closing the MLI over the buckle as you temp stow the long duration tie downs?
I did, but I did not close the whole the wire tie. The MLI is closed over the buckle.
Copy that, David. That's a good config. And what you're doing with that short T-handle tool, you're going to verify that the center and nadir Zeus fasteners are released. And you can use the T-handle tool to verify that the Zeus marks are aligned with the L in the lock, the word lock on the shield.
The center one is in line with the L.
Copy that.
And nadir one, also in line with the L.
Copy, center and nadir Zeus fasteners are aligned with the L. So you're going to BRT to that handrail that you were connected to earlier on 0364, and your mini workstation end effector to the lab 0267. And while you're doing that, I have a reminder caution and warning for you. First, the caution, be sure not to put significant force into the shield because of the stuck fastener. Moderate force can deform the shield and the tab, which could prevent reinstallation. And then the warning is that just a reminder that the Zeus fastener tings could have sharp edges.
Okay. All right, I think I am all connected. Okay, I am BRT'd and affected.
Okay, and I see that you're BRT'd. Now you can go ahead and try to attach that adjustable to the node 2 handrail 0364.
Come up and out. Looks like this one's still caught.
Yeah, feels like it there. Look under.
And that's not allowing it to come up right here.
Wriggling it. Got it.
Okay, and we see that the center Zeus fastener may be a little stuck. So if you can grab the T-handle tool again and try to rotate the Zeus fastener counterclockwise as far as it can go. If it goes a little past the L, that's fine.
Okay. And David's got that tool in his hand. He's working that.
Counterclockwise as far as it can go. Okay. And then clockwise to the line. Okay.
Seem like I got it?
Excellent. The BRT as well.
Okay.
Put this back here.
Yep. Doesn't seem like that's released.
Let's see if I can have a look underneath.
Astronauts are troubleshooting a fastener that is stuck in place and prohibiting the release of that MMOD shield.
Released. Not released.
Okay.
Okay, David and Ann, can you tell me if you see any motion relative to the structure in the center Zeus fastener?
So we think that the center Zeus fastener is still connected.
Copy that. Center fastener is still connected.
This view from McLean's helmet camera shows her using that T-handle tool to try and release the stuck Zeus fastener.
It's catching there.
Look underneath, you can see where it's mated.
Here, well, I've moved this. You want to try cocking it?
Okay. Over here. You know.
There's definitely a connection between that center Zeus fastener and structure.
Yeah, you can see on the bottom, underneath, there's like a little sandwich of plates of metal.
So we're going to see if we can turn it while I kind of wiggle it. I can actually get out of this anyway a little more.
A little bit of each other's way.
Yep, hold on, let me back up. I could just pull this.
Keep constant tension and
You know, what we're doing is I'm cycling force up on the panel a little bit. The bead is trying different clockings of this Zeus fastener, and hopefully it's pretty stuck.
We copy all in, and we see the hard work that you're putting in. Stand by, we're talking on the ground.
is it any better when it's parallel to the lock, to the wall of lock?
Okay, and we see that the Zeus fastener is really stuck, so what we'd like for David to do is go ahead and grab the pry bar and use the small trash bag to cover the Zeus fastener as you pry it open to catch any pieces. And as long as you can cover the area properly, we're good with that on the ground.
Okay.
I need to want to do a square swap on the long T handle.
Sure.
Ground teams are moving on to the next step of the plan to release that stuck Zeus fastener. David will translate to the IDA bag, that's the International Docking Adapter bag, and retrieve the pry bar. The astronauts will use that to hopefully free the micrometeor orbital debris shield so they can access the worksite underneath.
You want to grab the pry bar? I'll get my little trash bag ready.
Good. Thank you.
We copy that, Ann?
Oh, this might be splayed because I can see from the side that the metal is through the plate and it is not connected to the wire. It might just be slightly splayed.
Maybe just with force will.
Yeah.
Copy all, Ann. You were reading our mind. Thanks for the info.
All right, cut my trash back here.
Okay, Ann and David, we're in the crib sheet, so I'm going to read the steps to you as you perform. You grab the pry bar, and I see the trash bag is in place. So first, you want to verify that the Zeus fastener is turned counterclockwise to a hard stop.
Can work. And I don't know if it's going to hit a hard stop, Jeanette, because it's just free floating above that wire. Get a good angle as you get out of your way.
Okay, and we copy that. If you can just align the markup with the L.
It is about 10 degrees counterclockwise at the L.
Yeah, past the L.
Okay, and that's good. So you're going to place the bag over the failed Zeus fastener. I have one quick caution to read to you. So the short edge of the pry bar can't reach the Zeus fastener. So we're going to use caution in the next few steps that I give to you so as not to bend the MMOD shield. So next, place the short edge of the pry bar between the panel and the bracket of the Zeus fastener. And you're going to rotate it side to side to see if you can break it free.
It works. Under the panel.
In the panel?
Yeah.
Doesn't reach.
And Ann and David, I have one quick warning to read to you as well. So do not touch the backside of the MMOD shield or the handle fastener. The fragments can be sharp. And then the fastener and shield tool interface must be covered to avoid potential projectiles.
Okay. Get it covered with a trash bag.
But just to be clear, you want the shield, the tool under the shield panel or on the top surface?
David, I'm checking. So, David, we like for you to put the pry bar under the panel and then rotate it.
Right, that's where we have it. Between the panel and the bracket.
That's a good callback.
I'm trying to go as far as deeply in as I can. Of course. Movement. I feel some movement.
Yeah. A little further.
Want to try it from your hand?
Yep. Okay.
All right. Limited by the handrail.
Yeah.
You try the other side from your edge of the handrail?
Sure.
Astronauts are still working with the pry bar now to free a stuck fastener on the micrometeoroid orbital debris shield. Once that shield is lifted, the goal is to install a spider cable and mate that underneath the shield.
Not want to move, does it?
No, it does not. Try rotating the piece a little bit.
The T-handle right here. Kind of maybe do it simul?
Yeah, let's try that. Well, we got to keep the bag on when we put force.
Yeah. Kind of gently.
About saying, keep your hand on the tool. Go anywhere.
Yeah. Just
try again with my friend.
Can, yeah. Seems like they got some movement at the beginning there, but
it's hard to get something, yeah.
You can see the Earth in the background as the astronauts are 257 statute miles above Germany.
Nice.
Got it. And the Zeus fastener is still captured.
Awesome work, guys. Awesome work.
All right, where were we? Let me get my trash bag back on my WVS here.
I'll go put the pry bar back in the bag.
Okay.
Okay, guys, as you're cleaning that up, can you tell us what method you used to get that panel open?
What were we doing at the end? We had the T-bar playing with the clocking, and the Z has a pry bar kind of cycling force on it.
We're having a handover, 20-second handover.
Astronauts David St. Jacques and Anne McLean celebrating with a high five after freeing the stuck Zeus fastener from the micrometeoroid orbital debris shield. We're in a temporary satellite handover. Once we return, they will lift that shield and tether it, and then start removing the multi-layer insulation.
Okay, guys, we're back up with you via voice only right now. Shortly, we'll have video. So if you can give us the method that you used to get that panel open.
It's a combination of wiggling the T-handle tool and to change the clocking at the same time that we use the pry bar underneath, kind of just cycle force on the connector, and then it came out. I'm looking underneath, it does look slightly splayed, not very much so.
Okay, all good information, Ann. Thank you so much.
The trick was, as we were applying more force on the pry bar, we're sneaking it in further and further in with more leverage. And I don't know, maybe it was felt altogether like 3 discrete moments where we made progress.
Okay, great, David. Thanks for the info as well. And I see that you're getting that adjustable from the long T-handle tool onto the new 2 handrail.
Confirm. You got to pull up a little bit. You might be imparting a little force. Actually, I think it's stuck on where the antenna connects down there. I need to go in and up.
And you may need to swing the MMOD shield out to disengage the 2 nadir tabs on the inner side of the shield.
Copy. Yeah, we need to get above the antenna first.
You want to do the corner there? I'll do the pulling. Relocated?
Sure. There you go.
Also put 2 adjustables.
Sorry?
We also put the second adjustable in series.
Good. It's not really going back.
You got it. You can tell there's kind of marks from the previous time where
Yeah.
you have to roll it a little bit.
Yep. I think too.
You gotta get it.
We go. Get it. Oh. All right.
And the red is on.
Excellent.
Okay, that was great teamwork, guys.
Okay, cinching. It's cinched.
All right.
What as high as it will go.
And I think we're going to release this nadir MLI. All right, Jeanette?
That's correct. You're only going to release the nadir MLI Zeus fastener and the center and Zeus fasteners, if you can report if there's any damage on the nadir fastener.
You can see that micrometeoroid orbital debris shield is lifted.
J14.
Take a photo of the fastener we just worked on.
Astronauts have also lifted the MLI, or the multi-layer insulation.
To access the connectors. And for you, David, if the shield is stable, you can go back to the IDA bag and release the caps from the Papa 14 and the J1, and that's on the Whiskey 4300 cable.
I might get from my angle.
Copy.
And David, those caps remain tethered to the IDA bag.
Get it from this angle a little better.
Yeah.
Those caps remain tethered to the IDA bag.
Caps remain in the bag, okay. One moment.
You can see the Worksite and some of the cables that the astronauts will be disconnecting and reconnecting under that multi-layer insulation from Anne McLean's helmet camera, denoted by the number 18 in the lower right-hand corner.
You have a go to demate the Whiskey 2809 Papa 14 from the J14, and you can temp stow the cable underneath the MLI.
That's fine.
And for you, David, get ready to hand that Whiskey 4300 Papa 14 to Ann.
Over to the bag.
At this work site, McLean will first demate a cable and then route the new cable once she is handed that by St. Jacques. She will route and mate that new cable, which will eventually provide Ethernet for the space station.
I see Whiskey 2809, 14.
Just over 2.5 hours into the spacewalk, and the astronauts are outside of the U.S. lab performing this work.
My band. See no bent pins.
Copy that. Good EMI band and good pins. Okay, when David has that Ethernet cable, he's going to have the Whiskey 4300 Papa 14. You're going to mate that, and you're going to route it under the handrail 0267. And David, as you transfer that, verify that all your safety tethers are clear of the cable.
Reminder. Here.
Okay, I have Whiskey 4300 P14. I believe this will be going to Lab J14.
That's affirmative to Lab J14. And David, once you have you verify that your safety tethers are clear, you can retrieve the Whiskey 4300 Papa 1 P1, and it should have a label wire tie CP13. And you're going to temp stow that on handrail 0226.
Do you need a spell to help?
We're going to need some help with the side loading here, because this is going to be severely side loaded.
Yep. So Jeanette, I'll delay a bit helping out here with this connection.
Copy that, David. We see you there. Thanks for letting me know.
BRT down.
So if you can push that cable down to try to get some of that memory. Pull it toward you. Pull it toward you.
Clocking do you need?
I need to rotate the connector clockwise.
Oh, okay.
I need to pull this cable. Yeah, so this is this cable right here. So if you could grab it like here, and then we got to rotate it clockwise somehow.
Which way is the flopping? Like this?
Yes, let's see, try to go over the top like that. We're going to roll it closed. See what I mean?
So
from here, we got to roll clockwise.
Clockwise.
Yep.
Ah, the cable is
exactly
shaped that way. Okay. Did I can bend it first?
Maybe.
It's going to be clocked all the way like this.
Yeah.
Like that.
We're basically trying to bend this very cable
at a very short
90-degree angle right next to the back shell.
Very short
feed it in there.
Both hands in here.
Got it. All right, I'm going to hold it. Can you reach the bail?
Okay.
I'm not going to I'm not. I don't know if you can get any force on the bail from there. Even if we could just do it partially for now. Got it.
Take it in.
Hold on.
Is it over center?
It's not over center.
Not yet?
Not yet. Here. I'll make it one side while you get the other one.
Over center.
You got it.
I got it over center.
Nice.
Both sides? Both sides?
Good job.
Good. Over center, I made it.
You guys make a great team. That's excellent.
You
guys make a great team. As Will said, teamwork makes the dream work. So, good job, guys. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Makes the connections over center, too.
Okay. Next, below gas.
Yeah, J1 to...
That's the leg, right?
And that's correct. And you're going to locate that J1 on the Whiskey 4300 cable, and you're going to mate it to the J1. Mate J1 to the Whiskey 280 P14. So to the Whiskey 280.
Turn off the cable.
2809 P14 is in my hand.
Yeah.
All right, looks like the pins. I'll get the EMI band side if you get the pin side.
Okay.
EMI band is good on the P14 Whiskey 2809 side.
Good pins, no FOD.
Copy. Good pins, no FOD, and EMI band. And EMI band.
Over center.
Made it over center.
Copy. Made it over center. And if you can verify that the cable runs underneath the shield out under handrail 0267.
It does.
It does. Thank goodness.
And if you're good with those connections, do we have a go to perform connectivity test? Copy that. We have a go to perform connectivity test.
Go to perform connectivity.
So that's all get going on the stowing you wanted me to do earlier from stowing the second layer cable?
Yes, stop it. So you would go back to the IDA bag and you will retrieve the Whiskey 4300 Papa 1 Ethernet cable, and it has a label wire tie CP13. and you're going to temp stow that on handrail 0226. It's where you attach the IDA bag connector.
I see the handrail.
And Jeanette, once you get the connectivity, the next thing is going to be closing this MLI, is that correct?
Yes, and you're correct. And you can go ahead and start working on closing the MLI. Verify that the MLI covers the Worksite under the panel. Verify that the MLI covers the Worksite under the panel.
Okay.
And so, give us a few minutes so you can go ahead and work on the MLI as you need and make it as tidy as you can.
After completing the connection of some cables underneath the micrometer orbital debris shield and the multi-layer installation, McLean provided the go for Mission Control Houston to conduct some connectivity tests. Meanwhile, St. Jacques is temporarily stowing a cable which will eventually be routed as a wireless access port.
And so, Ann, we've got a good connectivity test. Excellent.
Oh, that's great news. And Jeanette, the Nader Zeus fastener and the MLI is in.
Copy that. And okay, Ann, that sounds great. And if you can stand by just 1 minute, we have to verify one more test on the connectivity. 1 minute, we have to verify one more test on the connectivity.
Okay.
And Jeanette, I have Robotics CP13 on handrail 0226.
Okay, copy that, David. And can you verify that your safety tethers are clear of the cable?
Safety tethers are clear of the cable. Just a reminder.
Okay, copy that, David. And just for your information, all connectivity tests were good. So great job, guys. For you, Ann, can you verify that the Whiskey 2809 cable is routed in the gaps in the shield nadir of the handrail 0267?
It is in between, it's coming out the same place it was before, so there's a split in the MLI. It's directly in between the handrail 267 and 98, and should have a shot of it in my WVS if you can. I also took some closeout photos.
Copy, Ann. Okay, Ann, can you verify that you got the MLI Zeus fastener?
Yes, the Nader MLI Zeus fastener is reconnected.
Copy all, Ann.
Clockwise and then, or counterclockwise and clockwise.
Copy all, Ann. Excellent, Ann. Thank you for repeating that. Okay, and David, for you, if you can retrieve the rest of that Ethernet cable from the IDA bag, it's the third layer, and it should have a label saying wire tie start. And you're going to temp stow that on the other handrail 0288 where you installed the IDA bag connector.
Do that.
Okay, and for you, Ann, if you haven't already, you can release your BRT.
Hop on first.
If you haven't already, you can release your BRT. Say again, David?
Release. I think we're going to loosen that AET.
Yeah. I think maybe I'll just stick around here just a few more moments near the shield in case I need help with the...
I think it's going to be a two-person task to get this closed.
Okay, copy, guys. We have a 20-second to a handover.
Copy.
As you saw, we had confirmation from Jeanette Epps, the ground IV today, that there was a good connectivity test with the cables just installed. The astronauts are now reinstalling that multi-layer insulation that was removed to access the worksite, and then on top of that, we'll reinstall the micrometeoroid orbital debris shield. Additionally, they will retighten those tie-down tethers on top of the micrometeoroid orbital debris shield and perform some worksite cleanup before moving on to their next task.
Down there.
What?
Okay, guys, we're back up with you on voice and no video.
Yes. Copy. We are just working to get the car head closed.
Copy that. Can you verify that you have a RET to the long T-handle tool and your mini workstation?
Yes, I do. And we released the AET from 364. I am ready to the T-handle tool and that AET so we can go with me to the next worksite. And we're working on getting the flanges underneath if that's our good next step.
Copy all and keywords.
Okay, if it's clock it a little bit towards station and kind of bow it down.
Okay. Yep, that's good. And actually now, let's get it down and then push. Maybe if I push it down and you push it in?
Yeah, I'll try to go up in the crease.
Go ahead. Push it in.
Push further down, I think.
Hold on, let me see if I can get over this connector. We kind of decide which way we're going to do first. I think if I push it down, and then we try to rotate it in.
Go out, and shift, and in. Right?
Right? Great technique. Yeah, there's cuts on the shield. You can tell somewhere. I don't want to hit the V-lip and center too hard.
Okay, Ann and David, we see that you're having some trouble getting the shield in. You can likely use the pry bar and use that, or you can remove the handrail if you need to.
Copy.
And if you use the pry bar, you use it sort of like a shoehorn to push the shield in.
That makes sense.
Okay. How far are we?
We're close.
Wow, what was that?
So we're sort of there. And we got to get... This is where we're going to have to kind of rebend this.
It's bending on. It's the connector of the Zeus antenna that's catching.
Yes. And it can tell it's caught there before. Not the first mark in the MMOD shield. I wonder if we lift it up and then pull this back down first. Can you lift up with your left hand? Or maybe we should just redo that adjustable and then let it out slowly. See what I mean? Because it'll kind of, we can put a little memory in it and then stick it underneath.
Where's the friction?
it adjustable back up?
Yeah, we'll do that, yep.
So you can maybe try to bend it. It's down.
Right here?
Yep.
Out of this show.
Okay, Ann and David, if you can ensure that the tabs on the inboard side are in before you push in, and then that may help you get it in.
Yeah, they're not. That's the issue. Two of them are out.
Copy that.
We had them in, and the issue is actually not the handrail. It's the US antenna connector. And I think it's because we bent the shield, not permanently, but just bent it on its way out, so we need to bend it on its way in, so we're just kind of figuring out a way to get...
Back our tracks.
Yeah, kind of work backwards.
Copy all, Ann.
Okay, I think if this was connected, then we could bend this under, and then let it go.
And Ann and David, just a reminder that if you need, you can remove the handrail.
I think I found something that interferes. You see that trunnion there?
Yeah.
I think that interferes with us. That needs to go underneath the shield.
Oh, that pin? Oh, I see what you're saying.
I mean, yeah. I think that's what we're putting it in.
Yep, you're
I think that's what it is.
Yep, I concur.
You flip that under.
You need the bar bar?
If I can get there.
Or do you want that T handle tool to push on it?
Yeah. Let's get here my beer T.
I should go up there.
Yeah, no, this is the two I need. What I need is...
That's that corner. We're talking about.
Just a red, some junky with a red.
Okay. So Jeanette, just so you can picture what we're talking about, the shield on the inboard side by handrail 267 is caught underneath the base of one of the...
push now, you're clear.
Stand by.
Yeah, clear.
It was caught under one of the MLI Zeus fasteners.
The innermost Zeus fastener of the MLI.
But David just got it.
Okay, now let's push.
Okay, I copy all, Ann, and we see what you're doing there.
Yep. All right.
Everything very good?
That's close.
Close.
You can see McLean with red stripes around the bottom of her spacesuit at the lower end of the screen as EV1, and David St. Jacques just above her with no stripes on his spacesuit as EV2. The pair are working to reinstall the micrometeoroid orbital debris shield.
And you would have to drive 2 volts because the handrail is in a seat track.
Copy. All right. Whoop.
Okay, and at this point, we recommend that you go ahead and remove that handrail.
Okay, so I see a 16 volt right in front of me on this end. And pull that to the handrail.
And if you need, I have steps for you, and I have a PGT setting as well.
Copy.
So is it far enough in, you think? No.
Is it far enough that way?
Yeah.
Might be able to get more. Can you kick that part down a little bit? There we go. Oh, we're getting it.
Yeah. Again, there's got to be some hard interference somewhere.
There's what?
There's hard interference somewhere.
Yep.
Okay, and you guys have done a great job in trying to get that panel, and we think that you should go ahead and grab your PGT and loosen the handrail to get that panel in.
Copy. Ready for settings.
Okay, and your PGT settings would be alpha 7, counterclockwise 2. And you should only have to turn the bolt about one turn.
Okay, one turn. And if I just release this, the Zenith side, is that going to be able to swing out? Or am I going to have to release both sides?
And you'll not be able to swing it out because the handrail is in a C-track, so you have to loosen both.
Copy, understand. All right.
Do you have to rect it? Or?
I have it on it. Move my end effector so I'm not actually connected to it.
So, and just to clarify,
I have alpha 7 counter 2 set. Sorry, go ahead.
those are good readbacks for the PGT settings. You're going to make one turn on each bolt, and then you're going to change your PGT settings after that.
Copy and work. There's one on the Venus. You probably find something else to hold on to.
We copy one on the Zenith.
What am I getting pulled by?
Waste tether.
Waste tether? Yeah, it's slid down to the bottom.
Yeah, they're treated.
Can you throw that back? Okay, there's one turn on the nadir bolt.
Okay,
For the next setting.
copy that, and so you're going to change your settings to alpha 1, counterclockwise 2, and then you're going to release both bolts to a hard stop. It's going to be about 6 turns each.
Alpha 1, counter 2 to hard stop.
McLean is using the pistol grip tool to loosen and remove a handrail to allow them better access to completely retach that micrometeoroid orbital debris shield.
Okay, guys, great work. We see you on the timeline.
Copy, thanks for that. Okay, there's our hard stop on the Zenith. Okay, those bolts are moving the hard stop.
Okay, and in order to remove the handrail, you have to depress the release buttons.
Copy.
And then you could slide the handrail out, slide it nadir out of the C-track.
Work. Huh? I just took off down the handrail and hold it up. Okay, I think we can get past that there, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. You're on the same Zeus fastener. Same issue as previously.
Sorry?
We have the same issue. It peeled off. It peeled under the MLI Zeus fastener.
Copy.
Hopefully it's...
Alright. There we go. Okay. Get it down in the middle again.
Yeah.
Next point is, yeah.
Technique.
Okay.
Well, that's good enough.
There we go. Got it.
How about the cables there? Where they go?
So this is where they were coming out before, yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah, I concur. Did we get the handrail back on? A lot easier to work here when there's something I want to.
Did they get it?
I got it. Oh, got it. I'll get this side, you get that side.
And David, for you, while Ann is getting that handrail installed, can you verify that all the tabs are in on the inboard side of that panel?
3 tabs are in. The panel is flush with its neighbors.
Copy, 3 tabs in. Thanks, David. And Ann, let me know when you're ready for PGT settings.
Stand by.
Pull towards me a little bit so you can get another
Yeah,
nail.
you can go toward you.
Yeah, we've got to go both in at the same time.
There we go. Now,
Okay.
Yep.
We're in. Maybe one
one more little feet track. Yep.
So, Ann, you go ahead and install the handrail by sliding it into the C-tracks to a hard stop with the T-tab, and then you're going to push the handrail into the C-track to engage the soft dock feature.
Copy and work. There we go. Got it. Yep. And then...
push on the button on this side. It's out of the track here. Not in the track on this side.
Down the track?
Not in the track.
Yeah. You can pull it.
Again.
Yep. Good. Push.
Okay.
Get it in. That's in.
Yep. That's where it wants to be. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And before it moves again, let's PGT it. All right, ready for settings, Jeanette?
Get a hand on it so it doesn't move away.
Thanks.
Okay, Ann, your PGT settings are alpha 2, clockwise 2, and you're going to turn each bolt about 7 turns to a hard stop.
Alpha 2, clockwise 2.
Those are good numbers?
It's checking in. I have a green light, 3.7 torque, 9.2 turns. The nadir zone?
Copy that, 3.7 and 9.2 torque.
And 3.7 torque, 9.2 turns, green light on the Zeus side. The handrail is reinstalled.
Okay, those are good numbers, Ann, and good job. So next, Ann, you would go back and reinstall those long duration tie-down tethers on the lab handrail 0298.
Copy. Throw me those.
And for you, David, if you can retrieve that the rest of that Whiskey 4300 Ethernet cable and temp stow it on handrail 0288.
Handed me off the long duration tie-down tethers at the moment.
Copy that, Jeanette. I'll just finish helping. I think this is our efficient people here.
Okay, that sounds great, David. Great teamwork.
McLean is finishing up the reinstallation of that debris shield by tightening those long duration tie-down tethers. Afterward, they will perform some inventory of the tools in their bag and then begin cleaning up the work site.
Taking tension.
I'm going to close it. I'm going to lie on the buckle now.
So, Jeanette, we're not attempting anything with the central Zeus fastener, right?
Can you repeat that, David?
We're not attempting to do anything further with the central Zeus fastener?
That's correct, David. You're just going to reinstall the long duration tie-down.
Okay.
Okay, and can you verify that you cinched the long duration tie-down tether after you got the hook on?
Yeah, we fixed those. There's just a little bit of play in them. I don't know if you can see them in the WVS. We can pull them tighter if need be.
Copy, and we're looking. Okay, and we see that, and we need to tighten that up because those are the tie-downs are what's going to keep the panel in.
We'll push them down further.
Awesome.
Thanks, Ann.
No worries.
And?
Yeah.
The one I'm working on is a twist.
Sorry?
Yeah, just to flip the connector half turn.
All right.
We're 3 hours and 11 minutes into today's spacewalk, and this is a live look from Mission Control in Houston, Texas at Johnson Space Center. Astronauts have just installed a new spider cable under an orbital debris shield and are now cleaning up the work site.
All right. Okay, done. Are you ready for this J1 connector on the EWIS?
And that's a good teleconfig, and we are ready for the EWIS antenna connector.
Work.
Engineer, I'm going to go back through the bag and say again the next steps for me, temps per cable.
That's affirmative. You're going to go to that third layer in that IDA bag, and you're going to grab the rest of that Ethernet cable, and you're going to temp stow it on handrail 0288. And you should see a label, wire tie start.
Start on 0288. Okay.
Did that, I had a band and no bent pins, working on getting it inspected. And we are mated over center on the EWIS.
Copy that, mated over center on the EWIS antenna. Okay, and if you loosen the gap spanner.
My WVS.
Right now, Ann, we don't have your WVS.
Interesting sound. Matt, you still with us?
Hear me, Ann?
I hear you.
I hear you faint.
You hear me faint?
Faint, yeah, very faint.
Can you hear Jeanette?
I can hear her faint too.
David, how do you hear me now?
I hear you. Yes, we hear you now. Do you still have me faint?
Yeah, I hear Ann fainter than before. Don't know about you, Jeanette.
Okay, and I see you tightening up the gap spanner. We need a report on the other long-duration tie-down tether. We want to make sure that that is also cinched down.
Yes, that is very tight.
Yeah, cinched
it is
down.
a guitar string.
I see that in your WVS. Thanks, Ann.
Great.
And Ann, can we see the... Go ahead, David.
So just one clarification for the cable that I'm tying down. I am leaving the adjustable in the bag.
That's correct. You're going to retrieve the adjustable from the spider cable and stow it in the IDA bag.
Great.
And for you, Ann, can you verify that the MLI is covering the buckle on that second long-duration tie-down and the wire tie is in place?
Yes, to both, and I'm getting closeout photos for you of the whole area.
Thanks a lot, Ann.
McLean has remated the antenna previously demated to access the work site and is taking some photos of the work site as she prepares to move on to their next task.
All right, photos complete.
Copy that. And one last item on the gap spanner. If you can rotate the buckle 90 degrees after cinching it to ensure that we have a 1-inch slack. And we're coming up on the day pass.
We do. Copy, and yes, we can rotate the buckle.
I saw that, Ann. Thank you.
For the cable.
I saw that, Ann. Thank you. Go ahead, David.
I think a top reader should look for wire tie start. I don't see that. I see wire tie number 1.
Copy. Stand by.
Looks to be the kind of the outermost wire tie.
McLean just tightened the gap spanner, which translation paths aren't always easy on stations, so sometimes in between handrails on the modules, gap spanners make it easier to move from one location to another. We are also entering a day pass over the South Pacific Ocean.
And the adjustable is in the bag.
We copy all, and if you can verify that your safety tethers are clear of the cable.
Safety tethers clear of the cable.
Clear the cable as well.
Copy, Ann. And since you're done with that, Ann, can you give us a glove and half check?
And Jeanette, just one thing to add on the left glove. Again, my index finger, RTV, I don't know if you can see it in the WVS, where the out of my pointer finger is, the RTV is peeling back, but it looks like there's a second layer of RTV underneath it.
Copy, and we can see that on your WVS checking. We copy all on the left glove, and we'll just track.
And Jeanette, I can give you an inventory of the IDA bag if that's next.
That is correct, David.
Inside the bag, you have a extra tap on an adjustable, a jack cap on an adjustable, tri bar on a ret, a small large adjustable, and a small adjustable. And that is all for the inside. And on the outside, there's just one wire tie on the lid.
Yes, I close that. Here's the lid strap.
Okay, David, that's a good inventory.
Thank you.
So next you're going to release the 4 hooks on the IDA bag and stow it on your BRT, and then we need to get a glove and half check from you.
Dry half.
All right, the lid strap's closed down.
No changes on the glove.
I'm going to release these two.
You're up to it?
Okay.
And for you, we didn't get a check of your right glove, and we need a half check as well.
Yes, the right glove was no change, and dry half.
Okay, we can copy right glove good and dry half.
Let me know when you want me to release these two.
And with that call in, I see you helping David get the IDA bag, but you're going to translate back to the no-coordinator crew lock bag on the cedar rail, and you're going to retrieve your green hook as you're heading out there.
Okay, and you're ready to do it again?
Ready.
Okay, I've released one. Let me go get the other one. All right. Those are released. I did not hook them back to the bag.
Bottom two released?
Yeah, bottom two are released. I've not hooked them back. All right. I'm going to start heading back unless you need a hand.
I'm releasing the last one and I'm on my way.
Okay.
The bag is on my ERT.
Copy, David.
4 corners released.
Okay, guys, we're pretty much on the timeline. 3 hours and about 20 minutes. PEP.
Okay.
And David?
Now retrieving my green hook. Retrieving my green hook.
Copy, you're retrieving your green hook, and then after that, can we get a glove and half check?
Roger that, I have my green hook from 2.
We're currently in a satellite handover as the astronauts wrap up their work at the second work site of the day on the U.S. lab. They lifted and removed the micrometeoroid orbital debris shield and multi-layer insulation after having just a little bit of trouble releasing one of the fasteners. They then mated 2 cables underneath and routed one outside to provide Ethernet to additional Ethernet to the space station.
And you're heading out to pick up the crew lock bag at mile marker 7860.